So glad to be joined by former Sox catcher A.J. Pierzynski. Looks nice down there in Florida. How you doing?
It's good. It rained today, which we needed, but if you can see the clouds behind me, it's kind of a little rainy.
How about that? I wanted to start here, and you've got the hat on. You've been watching The Last Dance?
I did. I missed the last two episodes, though, last night. I got to watch them with my family coming up. We went to a drive-in movie last night. When's the last time you'd say that? Went and watched Back to the Future 2 at a drive-in. So I missed the last two last night, but I just had the hat on because I figured it matched my Gator shirt with the Jumpman logo, so I just had that one on.
I love it. What do you think of Jordan's competitiveness?
Oh, man, it's amazing. He's the man. I'm happy that we could do something to show people, especially the younger people, like my kids who are 14 and 13 at this point, why Jordan is such a legend for us, as they call us boomers. Even though we're not boomers, they call everyone older than 30 boomers these days. So they didn't understand because they never got to see Jordan and what just an event it was. There wasn't cable TV like there is today where you could watch every game. And if Jordan was on TV, it was like must-see national games every time he was on TV.
What do you think of the people who are like, hey, he was too hard on his teammates?
No, I love it. I love that. I laughed at that part. My family looked at me and was like, oh my gosh, it sounds like you. I mean, I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan at any sense because he was way, way better than I ever thought about being. But I respect the fact that he said, look, I don't ask you to do anything I wouldn't do. And he also said, hey, look, guys, this is what it takes to win. And they won 6 championships in a row. That's pretty darn amazing.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I feel like what burned inside of him is kind of like what you had inside of yourself.
Yeah, except he was a lot better than I ever thought about being. I mean, he was ridiculous. I mean, the stuff that he would do. And what I like is how he always had to find an edge. And I tell people that all the time, that I had to find an edge and a hate to play against the other team. And it wasn't personal. It was just something I had to do to get up, to go out there every day, because it's a hard game, baseball, every day. And Jordan learned that when he went to play baseball, how hard it is, especially on a professional level. And every day somebody's coming for your job. And to be at the top of his game the way he was for so long and have every little thing scrutinized that he did, sometimes you feel sorry for him. You don't, because of how he handled it and how great he was. But, man, it's got to be a tough life.
You know, it's so interesting you said that, because before we sat down to do this, I asked some Sox fans on Twitter for what question they'd want to ask you. And this guy, Dave Hoffman, asked, given the grind of his season, how did you keep your edge so sharp? How did you do that?
First of all, genetics. I was very lucky. My mom and dad, I never really got hurt other than a couple fluke things. And then just like I said, I had to invent a way to get up for every game. And that involved, lying to myself, saying the other guy hated me even when he didn't. The Jordan story about George Carl, where he walked by him and didn't have dinner, or didn't say hi after dinner. I mean, that kind of stuff, it works for people. Certain people die. They were nice. They were say hi to everybody, where I was the other way. I was like, all right, I hate this guy. Even if they were my best friend, I remember facing Mark Burley after he left the Sox, and good buddy of mine. But, man, I just wanted to get a hit off him so bad. And I just imagine all the trash talking we had when we were locker mates for years with the White Sox. And that was what was going through my head, is like, I cannot let this guy get me out.
So for a minute, you got mad at Burley.
Yeah, for a minute. But then then I got a hit off of him, and he's yelling at me from the mound, like, how dare you get a hit off me? And then I was like, okay, now we're friends again.
That's awesome. So John Danks told us, as we were talking about the Blackout game, that you guys went to Monday Night Football, the Bears game, the night before. How did you decide to do that? Whose choice was that?
I think Konerko got a suite for us all. He was the man, so he had all the pull in town, and the rest of us were just hoping to get standing room only tickets. But Konerko figured out a way to get us seats and in a suite, and we just had to get out away from baseball for a minute. We had been through some tough games we had to win, and then we got to that last game, and hey, there's a Bears game, let's go. Well, of course, let's go. I love sports, and I want to go to everything I can. So we went, and it's like we keep talking about The Last Dance, and Michael Jordan went to Atlantic City. Dennis Rodman, God bless him, went and wrestled during the finals. Phil Jackson would give guys off because he knew, hey, you need a break. And if you don't, you're going to drive yourself crazy, especially in a game as hard as baseball.
What got into John Danks that next day in the Blackout game?
Maybe he was thinking about the Bears and Urlacher. I don't know what got into him, but I'm sure happy that something got into him because, man, he pitched amazing that night. And that's one of the best games. I mean, it's considered a regular season game, but just single games I've ever been a part of just because of what was at stake, who we were playing, Danks' numbers against them. Tommy hit the ball that, still might be going up over the plants and the scoreboard in center field. And then Griffey with the 17-hop throw to me where Kadir ran me over. That was just a great, great night. And my kids are asking me about it the other day, like, Dad, were they really all in black? And I'm like, yeah, look at the photos. And every single person was in black in the stands. It was just a sight to see.
Do you watch your old games with your kids?
If I can get one on. It's funny, MLB's been running. I can't, darn you, NBC Sports Chicago, for blacking out the White Sox Rewind because I can't watch all of them because they keep doing them from 05.
Yeah.
But DirecTV won't show them. So if you guys can figure out a way, I'd love, even if I have to pay like $1 or 50 cents or something for them, I'd love to. But MLB's been running a lot of the classic games, and I've snuck into a few of them. So every time they're on, I'll show my kids. I'm like, look, your dad was actually not as bad as you think he was.
That's funny. Well, I think we can probably get you the film from those games. I think.
Okay, great. Yeah, but see if it's on. But see if it's on TV, then they'll watch it. If I'm like, okay, we got to sit down and load it on the computer, then they won't watch it because they don't think it's as cool.
I gotcha. It just got to be there. I see.
Yeah.
So next month they're re-airing El Duque getting out of that bases loaded jam. When he came to the mound, what was the discussion like against the Red Sox that game?
I think I went out to the mound, and I think we had two guys warming up. I don't know who it was, El Duque and someone else. And Ozzie came out to the mound, and he went to the righty, and I was like, who are we bringing in? And he's like, El Duque. And I'm like, we're bringing El Duque with the bases loaded and no outs right now? And he's like, yeah, he'll get out of it. He'll be fine. He's been in this situation before. And I was like, oh, boy. And then he got the first pop-up and the second pop-up, and then he struck out Johnny Damon. It was like, he really did get out of this. I can't believe this actually worked because it was just an odd situation to bring him in. And he called me out to the mound. The first hitter, it was Tony Graffinino, I think, and 3-2, or maybe he got Veritek or one. I forget the order, but he called me out 3-2 to Graffinino, and I'd called every pitch he had, and he goes, front door slider. And I said, what? And he says, front door slider. Trust me, he's going to pop it up to the infield. And I'm like, no. I'm like, he's going to hit over the green monster. He's like, just trust me, front door slider. I'm like, okay, no sign. And I ran back and he threw it and he popped it up to the infield. And I was like, this guy's amazing. And then he got Johnny Damon swinging, who's a good buddy of mine, went to high school with him, and got out of it and went on and scored a couple more runs and won the series. And it was just one of those innings that will live on forever in White Sox lore because of the situation. And the Red Sox had won the year before, and they'd come back from a deficit. We were up 2-0, and it seemed like they were gaining momentum in Fenway, and El Duque just put it all away.
This is not your favorite game of your career that I'm asking about here. What do you think the most important game of your career was?
The most important game, regular season or postseason?
Either one for you.
For me, the most important game I ever played in was 05, the first game against Boston. I remember coming in after the day of the first game. We had won the division. The Red Sox had won in 04. 05, we had really nobody that had ever played in the postseason. Myself and Konerko. I think Konerko had been swept out. Jermaine Dye had never been, I don't think, past the first round with the A's. We were playing the defending champions. Everyone was saying we didn't really have a chance. And we went out, and I remember stretching, and everyone's like, I didn't sleep a wink. And they all looked at me, and I was like, dude, I slept fine. What are you guys so nervous about? We're gonna beat them. And everyone kind of looked at me, and then we went out in the first inning and scored a bunch of runs. And from that moment on, it was like, whew, everyone took a giant exhale and said, okay, maybe we can actually win these games.
I get this question a bunch. I want to ask you, how many times did Burley actually shake you off in your career?
If he was serious or when he was trying to get me mad and mess around with me. Because the first time he ever shook me off was in 2002. We're in Japan. I was still with the Twins. He was with the White Sox. We were playing an all-star series in Japan. And he was pitching. He shook me off, and it was Matsui. Hideki Matsui was hitting. He shook off to a changeup. And he hit a line drive off his forehead. Literally, like right here. Wow. Knocked him out of the game, knocked him out. And I go out to him, and he goes, see why I don't shake off the catcher? And I was like, well, you shook me, you dummy. And he started laughing. And then when he came to the White Sox, he would never, ever shake. Only if Jermaine or Paul told him to, because he just wanted to do it to mess with me. So he would shake it like the most inopportune times. He'd be like, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, they told me to shake just for fun because they knew it would make you angry. So I figured I'd try it.
That's awesome. That's
I mean,
hilarious.
you have to understand about Burley. We went through innings where Jermaine was calling pitches from right field. I would look out at Jermaine, and Jermaine would call the pitches.
How was he calling it?
With his glove, because nobody's looking at him. He'd be like fastball. He'd be like curveball, fastball away, slider, change up. With his hands, he'd be calling it from right field.
That's outstanding. I love it. Who's your favorite other celebrity you've gotten to meet because of baseball?
Oh man, I've been pretty fortunate. I mean, I've got to meet a lot of people. The one that everyone asks me about is Jordan. I've never met Michael Jordan.
Really?
He's like the one guy that I've never met, especially from Chicago. My favorites. Oh man, my one favorite celebrity. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, for me, everyone knows I'm a wrestling fan. I got to hang out with Hulk Hogan a few times. That was pretty cool. I mean, I've met, singers and actors and everything. I don't know. Jason, you can't just drop these on me. You got to give me a little time, a little pregame to think about it.
So that's what editing's for.
I know. We'll come back to that one. I got to think about that one.
Where did you meet Hogan?
I met him in Tampa a couple times, and then I also met him out in LA. We were playing the Dodgers, and he was staying at our hotel.
Wow.
Yeah, so randomly I walked into the hotel bar, and Hulk Hogan, Brutus Beefcake, and Brian Knobs are in the hotel, so we ended up hanging out at the bar for a little while.
Could you have been one of the Nasty Boys?
I don't think my hair is ridiculously long right now.
Nice.
I don't know that I could shave it into like the mohawk. I had the blonde hair, but I don't know that I could go for the mohawk look.
That's one of my quarantine pleasures has been downloading the WWE app and watching early 90s WWF stuff.
Absolutely. With all this stuff going on, you got to watch, Dark Side of the Ring and get all the 80s, 70s and 80s stuff about when wrestling was wrestling before it became what it is become today. It's still fun to watch, but it's not like it was before all the stuff came out about how they did it.
What would your finishing move be?
Oh, it'd have to be something off the top rope, like, Macho Man went top rope with the elbow, or Snuka off the top rope. It'd have to definitely be something high flying off the top rope where I could also get hurt.
I love it. I got a couple questions from Twitter that fans asked me to ask you. I want to start with this one. This is from somebody called Deceased the Day. The question is, will you adopt me, AJ?
Well, how old are you? And, I don't know what that requires.
Right. There's paperwork, I bet.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much you eat. And, my daughter and my kid, my son, they eat a lot. So I don't know if I can afford it. I'm able to handle a third person.
I love it. This is from NWI Steve, not NWO Steve. That's somebody else. He says, what did you say to Kadir after you tagged him out during the Blackout game?
I actually didn't say anything. That was what was funny. Normally I would have said a lot of expletives, but because it was Kadir and he's a buddy of mine and we kind of grew up together. If you watch it, I just didn't say anything. And I wanted to slam the ball so hard, like in his face, but then I realized it was Kadir, and I actually kept it pretty calm, because normally people that know me, I would have been talking really major shit.
Right. I love it. Casey LaPointe asks, who's the best pitcher you've ever faced? Well,
I mean, if we're talking like Hall of Fame resumes, I mean, Greg Maddux, Smoltz, Randy Johnson, Mariano was a guy I hated facing more than anybody. Maddux, all those guys that were Hall of Fame guys, Trevor Hoffman, Roy Halladay. These guys are all guys I was lucky enough to face, but the guy I tell people all the time I hated facing more than anybody was a guy named BJ Ryan. And he knew it and I knew it. And I was 0 for 10 with 9 punch outs, and I hit a ground ball back to the pitcher, and I've never been so happy to hit a ground ball to the pitcher in my life.
Why was BJ Ryan so nasty?
I don't know. I told him we were in an all-star game one time, and he walked into the room, and I was like, and I went and hit. And he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm just scared of you, period. And he started laughing. He sat down and talked to me. And he was actually a great, great guy. But you just have that one guy you can't get a hit off of, and it just happened to be BJ Ryan. And literally went up there and and I would strike out on 3 pitches, and like Greg Walker, our hitting coach, would be like, try doing something different. Like instead of trying to hit the ball the other way, try to pull it, get on the plate. And everything I did, I just couldn't hit the ball.
That's hysterical. This is from Ray Dargis. His question is, how does it feel to be awesome?
Well, right now I'm looking at my beard. It doesn't look so awesome. I got to maybe trim it, but I told my wife I'm not shaving till baseball starts again, so it could be a while.
Nice.
Hopefully not, though. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. This is from Peter Sagal, who wants to know if the story about you kneeing the Giants trainer below the belt is true.
No, it's not. I wish that story would go away. That story is unbelievable. It is not true. It is not. I did not. Did I want to? Yes. Did I? No.
But you wanted to, but you didn't.
Him and I have actually, Stan Conti and I had talked about this after down the road a little bit. The guy who said I did it. But Jason, you've been to spring training games in Scottsdale where there's about, 12,000 fans at every game. I was playing for the Giants. Do you think if I kneed the trainer in the nuts, it wouldn't have been all over television?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I read the story and I was like, dude, there's no reason that you would have done that. No,
I thought about it though, because it's a long story I'm not going to get into on this call, but yeah, there was definitely a want to, it just didn't happen.
I love it. This is from Matty Ice. As we let you go after this, he asks,
"Is that Matt Ryan, the quarterback?"
It is. Yeah, it's Matt Ryan, the quarterback. Wants to know. He just threw it past to Julio Jones, and then he typed this out on Twitter. He asks, "What's the best chirp you ever heard from a visiting fan?"
Oh my God! You know what? Anytime somebody would say something good to me, I would always respond. But the "you suck" and the "I hate you" and that just, you're like, whatever. But I remember my first one I ever remember was we were in Yankee Stadium in like 2001 when I was with the Twins, and we had just played the Yankees in Minnesota, and Chuck Knobloch had played left field, and we had a game where all the fans threw hot dogs at him because it was dollar dog night. So they threw they had to stop the game because there were so many hot dogs being thrown at Chuck Knobloch in left field. And then we went to Yankee Stadium like the next week, and the fan in the front row goes, "Well, I throw my hot dog at you, but it cost $8 and I can't afford another one. So I'm gonna hold it and just let you know I want to throw it at you." So I was like, that's a good one. Like, I like that. It's inventive and clever instead of just "you suck."
Right. Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
I want some I can laugh. I like a good heckle. I'll laugh. I'll give you credit. Well, hey, that's a good one. But the standard "you suck" or "I don't like you" or the White Sox suck or whatever it is. Come on, you're better than that.
Yeah. Before we walk away, I do want to ask you, what do you think of James McCann and Yasmani Grandal? What's your book on both of them?
Well, it's a great combo. Grandal has become, if not the best catcher, right up there with Real Muto as one or two best catchers going right now. He can hit, he can throw, he handles the staff great. To bring him in, and then you have the guy that made the All-Star team last year. People forget McCann made the All-Star team last year and had a great year for the White Sox. So 1-2 punch, no one's better. I mean, I feel sorry for Ricky. How the heck's he going to get those guys in the lineup? And then you throw Abreu and Encarnacion. One of them's going to have to DH. You're going to have to try to steal at bats here and there. I mean, I feel bad for him because one of them's going to have to sit on the bench. 2-catcher
system. Just run 2 catchers out there. Social distance.
Well, yeah. One could be on the outside corner. One could be on the inside corner.
Love it. AJ, it is so fun to talk to you. Thank you for spending the time.
No problem, Jason. I hope you're staying safe, buddy. And let's get baseball back, please.
Let's do it. I hope we can see each other in a ballpark real soon.
Yeah, if you don't take my job first, I'll be there.
That's a 10 out of 10 beard, by the way. I really think.
No, it's getting gray, man. You got some gray in here. I'm gonna have to get some Just for Men. You put it in your hair. I'm gonna have to get it on my beard.
I can't wait to see Chia, AJ, next time we see you.
I'll be like Dallas Keuchel. It'll be like all the way out to here.
Love it. Hey, stay safe, AJ. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. You too, buddy.